right, guys, we are headed to Tennessee. It's 5:30 in the morning. We've been on the road since 3:10, and we are headed to pick up our new RV.
It's 530 miles from start to finish. We've got 397 to go.
Yeah, it's 5:30. We are empty stomachs on energy drinks right now, which is probably not the best. We made it to Tennessee.
No, more importantly, we made it to Chick-fil-A.
This is true. We drove through Kentucky. They only believe in Wendy's and Cracker Barrel, apparently. I mean, they had a couple of other things, but they definitely didn't have Chick-fil-A. We've been holding out for some, like, good breakfast food. I mean, you know, not that Chick-fil-A is, like, the best or anything. It's probably not the healthiest, but it's, I don't trust Wendy's breakfast food. So anyways, we're about 2.5 hours out, and the map lady is going to yell at us soon, so I'm going to get off of here. Guys, we're 2 minutes away, and I think it's coming up right up here. Hey there, YouTube. Okay, so whoops, I stopped filming yesterday because we had a little bit of a hiccup, just a little one. I didn't handle it very well. He's handled it like a champ.
Because I'm a champ.
So we drove 8 hours and we got to the dealership, and Heath walks in and they start the whole process, and then the guy's like, okay, do you have the cashier's check for me? I'm assuming that's what he said. I don't know. I was in the truck. And then Heath calls me and I'm like, what cashier's check? I either was told and forgot, which is very plausible, or I wasn't told, but I should have asked what form of payment. Find out that we need the cashier's check. We're like, okay, tried to wire it. There's a limit on how much you can wire because we're paying cash for it, because hashtag debt-free life. We are keeping the payment on our smaller one because we're going to be renting it out, and you know, I only had so much money from selling the house. So we are like, okay, we need to find the closest Wells Fargo. Guess what? It's like 3 hours away, or 2.5, something like that. Or was the one there wasn't one in Knoxville? That's right. It wasn't even a real bank. It was
the closest one to there, outside of going to Nashville, was in Georgia.
Yeah.
So luckily, we have friends who live just outside of Nashville, on the opposite side.
Which we were going to stay with them anyway.
Yeah.
On the way home.
So it just meant that we weren't picking up the trailer yesterday.
It's raining now. I don't like it.
Dang it.
Well, so we had to drive to Nashville to get cashier's check. I didn't take that very well because we had just spent 8-something hours driving from Missouri to Tennessee to pick up the rig. Excuse me.
Oh.
I had a dog that wouldn't stop farting, and one of my kids got car sick and puked, and it was yogurt in a small doorbell. So, anyways, my attitude kind of stunk, and we make it to Nashville. We go to the bank, and the bank's like, oh, we can't write a cashier's check today.
All right, this way.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we should pull over. We should pull over. I had to pull over for a second. Pouring rain. But let me finish the story now. So, the bank told us they can't cash a check because I had just transferred from savings to checking and it was pending. So that was like the icing on the cake to my like really, really gross attitude. And Heath is still like cool as a cucumber, getting irritated about me being irritated at that point, but other than that, cool as a cucumber. You don't hear that rain, it's nuts. So we go to our friend's house, and in the middle of the night I end up checking our account and see that it's posted. So this morning we went to the bank after breakfast, got the cashier's check, went, picked up the trailer, and now we're headed back to our friend's house in this storm, and we're ready to get there. But yeah, so guys, when we make it home to Missouri, Heath will be installing our electrical box and stuff for the new 50 amp, what is it called, baby breaker?
Yeah, well, it's a whole breaker system. So we're going to install a 100 amp breaker inside their breaker panel and then run 50 foot of 100 amp wire to install a new temporary power distribution box, which will have a 50 amp breaker or 30 amp breaker and a 20 amp breaker with the proprietary 50 amp, 30 amp, and 120 volt plugs. So
Yeah.
pretty basic as far as that's concerned.
So that's like one of the first things that we have to do, because we are currently running our small RV off of a generator. Is the generator under the tarp?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm dealing with reverse polarity on that, so I don't really know why it is, because the last time I used the generator in December, it worked perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it could be that my cable's gone bad, or it shouldn't be the generator. I think it's just the cable's gone bad, because we had that issue over Zacone.
That's true. We did. And
So,
yeah, we had an extension cord that like straight up melted. It's a blessing that it didn't do anything to our actual cord, but it may have damaged it a little bit. So that may be the case for
essentially, one
sure.
of the contacts on the loose leg that we had on that specific cable, the contact in the jumper that we were running was loose. So anytime there is a gap in your contacts, meaning you don't have 100% continuity, it's going to arc, which creates a spark, meaning the power has to jump from one leg to another.
And it melted it.
That creates a tremendous amount of heat,
Yeah.
and it melted the plug.
It was like, that's smoking or something like that, right?
And so, long story short, everything was okay, but since we've been using it the entire time, I think it's just gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, it needs to be replaced.
Yeah. So, but all that being said, the new RV is a 50 amp, so certain things will run off the generator. However, it's not strong enough for our AC to pull from it and stuff like that. So we really need to get that taken care of like first thing. And it is so humid in Missouri, so disgustingly humid. I really thought like we were gonna be getting a milder summer there because we were going farther north. I think I was wrong. So anyways, once we get it set up, I'll be doing a walkthrough on here and showing you guys the differences, like the upgrades as far as space and storage from our old rig. And yeah, so we officially are the owners of a new Kodiak. We are pulling onto property, guys. We made it back safely. Praise Yah. Look at Jerry already cutting down trees like a boss. He's all sweaty. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're home. There's our spot. So I'm in the RV. It's kind of a mess because we're transitioning things from the small RV to the big RV. And Heath and Jerry got the 50 amp plug set up last night, so we have power. And we ran our air conditioner. So anyways, I'm gonna give you guys a tour, just not at this moment because it's such a mess. I'm gonna try to keep transitioning things, but I'll give you a little sneak peek of the sitting area. We love it.